Hello, America. I'm Kemuel Chandler, and this is Qualitative Listening. Fed Chair Jerome Powell gave a speech at the Economic Club, but before we break that down, let's go over the Treasury yields. The 3-month is at 4.32%. The 6-month is at 4.2%. The 2-year is at 3.8%. The 5-year is at 3.9%. The popular 10-year is at 4.29%, and the 30-year is at 4.75%. Jerome Powell said a statement today about the bond market that when a statement is made, 2 months later, we look back at that statement and go, how did we think that? That's something to think about, folks. Powell highlighted the recent tariffs introduced by the Trump administration are significantly larger than anticipated. He warned that these tariffs are highly likely to cause at least a temporary rise in inflation and could also impede economic growth. While he expressed hope that the inflationary effects would be short-lived, he acknowledged the possibility of more persistent impacts. Given the current economy uncertainties, Powell stated that the Federal Reserve is adopting a wait-and-see approach regarding interest rate adjustments. He emphasized the need for greater clarity on the effects of recent policies before making any changes to the federal funds rate. Powell noted differing opinions among Federal Reserve officials concerning the appropriate monetary policy response. Some officials, like Fed Governor Christopher Waller, are open to rate cuts if economic conditions worsen, even with elevated inflation. Others, such as Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari, prioritize combating inflation and are less inclined to support rate reductions despite the challenges. Powell observed that the economy remains resilient with strong hiring and moderated inflation in March. However, he expressed concern over declining consumer and business confidence, which could negatively affect future spending and investment. Powell reaffirmed the Fed's commitment to its balance sheet reduction plan, emphasizing a cautious and measured approach. He noted that while the process of QT is ongoing, the pace has been adjusted to mitigate potential market disruptions. Specifically, the Fed reduced the monthly cap on maturing Treasury securities from $25 billion to $5 billion, effective April 1st, 2025, while maintaining the $35 billion cap on mortgage-backed securities. This decision aims to ensure sufficient liquidity in the financial system amid uncertainty surrounding the government's borrowing limit. The decision to slow the pace of QT was not unanimous among the FOMC. Some officials, including Fed Governor Christopher Waller and Cleveland Fed President Beth Hammock, advocated for maintaining the original runoff pace, expressing concerns about market liquidity and the potential need for a formal strategy to manage volatility. Despite the adjustments, Powell indicated that the Fed's balance sheet reduction is still a work in progress, with the balance sheet having declined from a peak of $9 trillion in 2022 to $6.8 trillion. Forecasts differ on when QT will conclude, with some suggesting completion in the third quarter of 2025, while others anticipate it could extend into 2026. That's the show, folks. Exciting stuff. Thanks for listening to Qualitative Listening.